the story grows, I'm Brian Patton. Today we welcome Slow Degrade frontman Shane Prickett to the podcast. Slow Degrade is a new heavy shoegaze band, and they recently dropped their new single, Lead Me Down. Shane talks about his musical journey with his brother, discovering shoegaze and the band finding their sound, his hopes for the future of the band, and more. Thanks so much for checking out this episode of As the Story Grows. If you're brand new to the podcast, welcome. You can find links in our show notes or at asthestorygrows.com for our mailing list, our Discord server, and our Patreon page. Enjoy today's conversation with Shane Prickett from Slow Degrade. What then gets you into music?
I always grew up around music. My parents were always playing music and always buying me and my brother like guitars or keyboards, you know, little drum sets. And I have my uncles play guitar, so they were always trying to like teach us songs on guitar. And we would like be on the way to work, or I would be on the way to school with my parents. And they would like tell me to like listen out to a certain part of a song, like listen to the drums, and kind of like taught me how to dissect the music at a younger age. And I just always was obsessed with music since I was so cool. Very young. I would just sit at the little CD player and play all my CDs all day, just listen to music all day.
That's so cool. Did they like see something in you or that's just their personality? They just love music and we're like,
I mean, they love music too. So our bass player is my brother, and they always said that they wanted us to be in a garage band. So they always like surrounded us by music. And now, you know, we're in a band and we play everywhere now, which is funny how it works out.
Nice. What then kind of gets you, or when do you discover like underground music, whether that is punk or hardcore or even just like shoegaze and indie rock?
I really started like getting into like more like niche stuff, like music taste wise, when I was like, I don't even remember what age I was, but I was really into like EDM and electronic music when I was maybe like 11.
Okay.
And I just kind of like dove into that. And then I kind of like was trying out different music, and I got into like the cloud rap, alternative rap, you know, like I feel like it's like a canon event for anybody my age, you know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I was like getting older. I was like, I'm kind of too old for this, but I always listen to rock music. I always, you know, the first CD I ever had was like Megadeth, that I stole from my dad. Nice. He had Limp Bizkit and Beastie Boys and all this stuff. But I really started getting more into like the underground scene, I guess you could say, probably like when I was, I don't know, like 15, 16, going to local shows and just seeing like local bands play and how the crowd interacted. And I was like, I want to be on that stage doing the same thing.
Nice. I mean, you and your brother are both in this band. Was it, I mean, because that's your parents' desire, were you always trying to start a band with him, or did it just kind of work out that way?
Well, like we've had like 2 or 3 other bass players. Okay. But we grew up kind of just like playing. I was originally playing drums and he played guitar, and we would just kind of like jam in the living room. But I originally didn't want Cody, my brother, to be in the band because he was my brother.
Okay.
Because I thought it was like weird that like I didn't want to be like that band, you know, with the brother. I thought it was lame for some reason. I don't know. And then we lost our last bass player, and then we lost the other bass player. And I was like, I only know one more bass player, and that's my brother.
Nice.
And then so I was like, can you fill in for these shows? It was like some tour. And then I was like, why are you filling in? You might as well just join the band. I mean, you're here all the time. You're at the house writing music with me. You might as well be in the band. And it just kind of worked out like that. It kind of just, you know, domino effect.
Nice. I have 4 brothers, and I always wanted them to play music and be interested in what I was interested in, and they never were. And so, is a bummer.
Yeah, Cody's only like we're about like a year and a half apart, so we're really close and we share pretty similar interests, so it was pretty
Nice.
easy.
Nice. Talk about Slow Degrade. What was kind of the initial inspiration for this band and project?
The inspiration, I was really, getting into like metal, more like alternative metal, not really like metalcore, some metalcore, but I was obviously listening, to Deftones. Everybody's all about the Deftones.
Yeah.
I love them. A Perfect Circle, Chevelle, all that stuff I was really listening to. And I listen to like some shoegaze. I'm more leaning, alternative metal, but
Okay.
I listen to like Nothing, Word, all those people. And I was like producing for some of my friends in Mobile, and I was really just like ready to do my own thing and play shows like I always went and saw, and I was ready to be up on the stage. So I just was writing music in my bedroom. I had never even played guitar before I went to Guitar Center, picked up a guitar. I never played guitar seriously, like tried to sit down and learn it,
Yeah.
So like I was like, I'm gonna like try to actually learn how to play guitar. And so I learned it, and then I wrote Habits, and I found some friends that would, like similar music and play in the band together, and that's kind of how it formed,
Nice. Nice. How much of that initial genesis, I mean, you mentioned, the range from Deftones, which is, I mean, at this point, the heavy shoegaze band of all heavy shoegaze band,
Yeah.
to like the new gaze stuff with Nothing and Were, like, how much was your initial thought of like, I like this lush shoegazy thing, but I want to be heavy, like, or was it just like, I don't know, a trial and error process of what sounds good? And
I mean, I'm more of like, I write like, I don't necessarily go for like, a defined sound. I just kind of like write on emotion. So those songs were really just, that was like, I guess I was having shoegaze-esque emotions, to incorporate those influences. And that's why there's like some heaviness, some breakdowns, Who Will Fix Me Now, stuff like that, has a lot of breakdowns. That's just, it just flows out of me,
Yeah. It's a weird place where there's so many bands in the last few years that are inspired by, I don't know, alternative rock, but it's like the guitars have a bit of like shoegaze not shoegaze, but a bit of like reverb on their fuzz, and it's like they're a shoegaze band, and it's like, are they? Is it? Like,
yeah. I mean, I used to like really like kind of shove myself in that, genre, but recently I think it's really just, call yourself alternative, and I let people put me where they want to put me.
Right. What was the inspiration for the band name?
Me and Andre, the guitar player, we were at the skate park, and we were just like, I had written Habits, and like we knew we wanted to make a band out of it. And so we were literally just like, we had like a couple of my dudes at the skate park. We were just like spitballing words, came up with like a long list of like just random names. None of them stuck. So then I woke up the next day. I literally like sat up in my bed, and it just popped in my head, like Slow Degrade. And it's just because like Slow Degrade is kind of, I feel like it's a good description of where the emotion of our music sits, because it's a slow, when you sit in like that emotion of being depressed or just not in a good place emotionally, you will degrade yourself, you will bring yourself down, and you're honestly your biggest enemy at the end of the day.
Yeah. How, because you've always listened to music, because you had parents who helped you break things down, how easy was it for you to kind of step into a role as a lyricist and as a writer?
I was writing poems, I remember like sitting on the toilet as a little kid with my notebook and just writing poems and showing them to my mom, and my mom being like, you need to be like a singer. You need to go write songs. So, I mean, I really just, I had the instrumental, I make the instrumental, and then I kind of like let it marinate. I can't always, throw down some lyrics. I gotta be in the moment to experience it and it just flow out. And so sometimes it's rough to try to like make something on the spot, but it really just all comes from where I'm at in the present, how I'm feeling, what's going on around me, things like that.
Yeah, you guys just released this new single, Lead Me Down. A lot of bands have, especially when you're starting out, you're trying to just slowly build up your following, take your time. What's kind of the plan? Have you guys thought about a trajectory of releasing music, whether it is, eventually an album with, hopefully a label comes along and wants to do something? Or is it just like, hey, let's focus on writing really good songs and releasing really good songs and just like making sure everything we're putting out right now is like high quality and not worrying about some future big package?
Yeah, I mean, I think this year we definitely want to finish an album. I have like a ton of songs just sitting. And there's definitely like a vision for an album, but for right now we're really just, like you said, taking our time. We're not trying to go, quantity over quality. We're just trying to, let Lead Me Down sit. We let Failing You, our previous single, just run its course, see how people react to it. And that's kind of just how I'm doing it right now. And it takes time, especially now, I feel like, for like people to appreciate certain music, especially if it's more different than our previous music. Because I feel like it's more I guess like more metal on this one, but eventually I do want to have an album out soon. It is being worked on, but it's not like, it's more of just, that's a goal for right now. So I guess for right now, I'm really just focused on building it slowly, taking the time with it and seeing how people, react to it. Yeah.
You guys have some shows coming up, heading out towards the West Coast this spring. Touring as a small independent band right now, I think especially post-COVID, has been extremely tough and difficult, but it seems like that side of the music industry, small venues are starting to pop back up and populate, and it's a little easier to tour. How has the experience of trying to book shows and kind of find places to play been for you?
Previously, before this tour, we were independent and we didn't have an agent or anything. So that was always like a pain. Like I was literally like, I don't think I'm going to book another tour until we have an agent, because it's just, it's like a battle of people just not responding, honestly,
Yeah.
And then you still have to budget for the tour. You have to route the tour. You have to put in all that work, and then you have to book it. But now we have an agent, so he takes care of all of that. And it is still, like financially, it is insane, honestly. The Holy Water tour we did a couple months ago, our van. So I'm under 25, they do the under 25 rental thing. And they quoted me, I think like 6,000 or 7,000 for the van. And it ended up being almost $10,000 by the time we got home. And I was not prepared for that. So it still haunts me currently.
Yeah.
We're working on it. So it is financially hard. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of energy, especially leading up to it. Like we're leading up to this tour now, and time that I could be writing music or working on videos or anything. I'm just like, playing the game,
Yeah. Yeah. From my perspective, and I talk to a lot of bands, I listen to a lot of music, it seems like there's so much cross-genre pollination these days within bands across scenes, like it would be easy to find your place in your scene, regardless of what genres you're pulling into your music. But I also know from going to shows, bills are so like stagnated by scene. Has it been tough to try to find shows and play shows and connect with people, or is it just like, other bands have been cool? And
locally, yeah, I mean, I feel like locally everybody's kind of battling each other.
Yeah.
And especially now that we're kind of having a wave and doing good things, people in Mobile don't understand that, when what's the saying, when all boats,
a rising tide lifts all ships.
Yes, exactly. They don't understand that. So they see us doing something and they kind of try to like shoot us down. But there's still like, a good crowd, and we do have a good community around here for the people that do support. But regionally, yeah, I mean, everybody's pretty supportive. Everybody is, willing to help let us sleep on the floor or do what we got to do, so everything's been pretty good for us, but it's really just like a local battle. I've kind of just like stepped away and let them be mad at us or whatever for doing our thing, Yeah,
everybody feels they're vying for the eyeballs and someone's attention, and it's like, you don't have to fight, right? Like
exactly. It's like we could be friends.
Just